Time now for the CJHL report. The Canadian Junior Hockey League brings together 135 teams in the 10 Junior A leagues involving over 3,000 players from right across the country. The BCHL has been granted approval to begin its regular season come April. For more, now join us is Darren Naylor, the Vice President, Head Coach, General Manager, and Director of Hockey Operations of BCHL's Nanaimo Clippers. Darren, you must have the largest business card known to man with all of those titles. We appreciate you joining us. How are you doing through all of this?
No, thanks for having me. I've watched you for a long time, so it's an honor to actually talk to you.
Thanks for making me feel old, Darren. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.
Shortest interview, eh?
Yeah. So you guys are getting ready to get back to play in April. How difficult was the whole downtime that you've had to go through, and how excited are you now to finally drop the puck?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of difficult, I've been around hockey quite a long time, junior hockey played, and I've never had a scenario where like that, with how you could just see day after day and week after week, the players' mental health was just lower and lower every day. And you just wanted to get them some good news, and they didn't really understand why they weren't getting allowed to play, because we'd already put together a 20-game season here that started in August and we finished in November and got through that with no hiccups. And the league was scheduled to take a 2-week break right around the end of right in the middle of November. We did that, and then we got locked down, and the players, a few of the players who were here from the States or whatever, they stayed for Christmas and stayed the whole way through. So it was hard. It was very hard, and it was kind of ironic because a year to the date where I had to tell my team from last year, we had a pretty good team, that their season was over. This year I got to tell the boys the best news, that they got to play, and it was like there was actually tears in the room, Gino, about it. They were so happy.
Wow. I don't blame them, man. Listen, these are guys of the age where this, once you get a little older, you realize there's more to life, but at this age there's not. At this age there's not more to life than being able to play hockey. So there's a lot of people listening and watching across the country right now are saying, why do they get to play and we don't? You guys are going to be playing in pods. Give me a sense of what that's going to look like and how you maintain the safety protocol. Okay,
so they've divided the BC Hockey League into 5 pods, and for people who aren't familiar with geographically of BC, I can help out with that. So on the island here, we're going to have a pod that's going to be hosted in Alberni Valley, and it's going to consist of the Nanaimo Clippers, the Victoria Grizzlies, and the Cowichan Capitals, as well as the Alberni Valley Bulldogs. And then over on the mainland, there'll be a pod in Coquitlam that'll host Coquitlam, Powell River, and Surrey. And then we'll go out. You head more out to the valley east. There you get to Chilliwack, and they're going to host Merritt and Prince George. And then you keep going up to the Coquihalla there, and you get to Vernon, and Vernon's going to host a pod with Salmon Arm and West Kelowna. And then Penticton's going to host a pod with Trail and Cranbrook, the new team that's come into our league this year. So what's that look like? That do you guys settle into motels? Do you settle into, like, when you bring these teams together, how do you keep them safe when they're not actually on the ice? So I'd say 90% of us are just going to have got permission to travel from our hometown right to the rink we're playing in.
Okay, got it.
There will be 3 teams or maybe 4, I'm not sure, that do have to do the hotel thing. I know Trail and Cranbrook, Powell River, and Prince George for sure. They're going to do the hotel thing, and they're going to be under strict quarantine rules, similar to what the NHL and what the Western Hockey League's going through, and with testing. And we have a really big league Zoom meeting today at 1:00 where we're going to be getting a lot of information. We just kind of got the information. We know we're going. You talk to a few people, you get some ins and outs, but today's the official meeting. We're going to talk to the chief medical guy. We're going to go through everything. So today is a day where we're going to be able to answer a lot more questions when that meeting's over at 1:00 BC time.
We're in conversation with Darren Naylor, the Vice President, Head Coach, and General Manager and Director of Hockey Operations for the BCHL's Nanaimo Clippers. Take me back to the conversation where you were finally able to tell the kids, guys, we're back playing hockey. You said that was an emotional time. Give me a sense of what that conversation was like and what it was like for you to be able to deliver great news like that.
Well, for once I didn't feel like Pinocchio, like trying to stretch the truth down and there's something coming, something coming. So we finally we brought them. I have a pretty tight team here. I've got a pretty good leadership group, and I brought them in first. And first of all, we had to ask them if it's something they wanted to do, because the mental health and
Yeah.
such as it is, we wanted to make sure, like, our team's not as bad. It's for the teams that we're going to have to quarantine or stay in hotels through this. I think that's a little more demanding. I think 46 days in a hotel. So I brought the leadership group in, told them that we've got the green light to go. I said, I want you to go down and take a vote and then come back and tell me, because I didn't tell them we were for sure. I said, we got to take a vote. It might be happening. Came back up. We went back down, and myself and my associate coach, Colin Burkus, who's from Ontario as well, we went in there and we just told them we've been greenlit to go, and that's all I needed to really say. The rest was, most of them didn't believe me at first. I'm like, no, we're not, because I've been taking them on field trips, been trying to really,
Yeah.
it's been a pretty tough thing, Gino. So
Yeah, I mean, mentally to keep these guys away from the game they love and where they spend all the time, that had to be really hard on these guys.
Well, I mean, I personally have a son on the team too, so I can tell you how tough it is on these guys.
Yeah.
And they go through it. And when they're in that 20-year-old year, like we talked about earlier, like, it's easy for people who aren't in hockey to say, well, you know what, they don't, they can wait or whatever, but no, they can't. These kids have played hockey, and this is the peak time where the scholarships are coming, or the central scouting's watching them. And it's big for these guys. And Gary Volk, who out here took a big stance for us, and he's on record as saying that if he would have missed these years of his career, he might not have made the NHL. So that's how big it is for these guys to get playing. And I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we've lost some players to go south. I mean, it might not be the typical brand of the BC Hockey League, because it is regarded as one of the probably top league in Canada. So we'll see what the talent level is like. We've brought in kids from all over who didn't have a chance to play anymore. So they've been like Hockey Canada and BC Hockey. They've been very accommodating, and their motto this year is like, let's just get as many kids playing as we can. So kudos to them for that.
You mentioned this briefly. I want to follow up on it. You talked about scholarships and scouting. You've already had 8 players from your team committed to NCAA Division I programs for next season. That's really impressive. That's also very, very important for them to get on the ice, because they want to feel like they're ready for next year.
Yeah, I mean, you can't lose time at this. Development time right now is so critical to everybody. So I mean, we have 8, and I feel by the time we're all said and done, we'll probably match last year. We'll be up around 12 or 14 again.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's good. And it's kudos to our program. We've done a pretty good job here, and that we took over about 4 years ago. And when you come into this league, you're kind of green. So you build some connections, and you do some scouting, and you bring in some good players. And a lot of the guys we brought in have got scholarships from the Clippers, not come in already with a scholarship. They've come here and showcased their stuff. And we've had some connections in the NCAA, so we opened a lot of doors for guys, and it's a rewarding thing when you can have a player who, go on to commit and gonna have schooling. He's gonna be set for life.
Hey, Darren, congratulations on what you did. I know it's been a brutal year for you and your kids, and really the region has missed out on watching hockey as well. You're coming through on the other end. Good luck. It all starts in April. Enjoy it.
Thanks, Gino. Thanks for doing this.
That was the Nanaimo Clippers Vice President, Head Coach, General Manager, and Director of Hockey Operations, Darren Naylor. And that wraps up this week's CJHL Report, the Canadian Junior Hockey League. Your future is here.